Hello everyone, it's Queen V Lion back to you with another video. This video pertains to the Little Kids Castle Daycare Center owner, Shanteari Young, as she is being charged for injuring her husband at a Washington, D.C. hotel. Now, the reason why this case is gaining traction is her husband, who is a former officer of the law, is accused of violating children. Now, Mrs. Wims allegedly took the law into her hands, and the events which led to and after the fact is where the lines become blurry. You will watch these few clips and I will be back with my commentary.
The daycare is closed right now. The case is gaining international attention. Police say there could be more victims, and this remains an open investigation. Little Kids Castle Daycare in Owings Mills, where police say retired Baltimore City police officer James Weems Jr. abused at least 3 children. His wife Shanteari owned the daycare, and he worked here as a bus driver for at least 2 years.
We learned of these allegations earlier this month, and that's when our investigation was launched.
According to court documents, Shanteari Weems reported the abuse to police, but kept getting calls from parents. That's when she confronted her husband shortly after the two checked into the upscale Mandarin Oriental Hotel in Washington, D.C. last Thursday. Police say Weems told them the argument got heated, her husband moved toward her, and she shot him.
At this point, he remains in police custody, hospitalized in Washington, D.C., pending extradition.
It's kind of hard to feel sorry for him. I mean, everyone knows she shouldn't have taken the law into her own hands, but you didn't have your life upended. Her whole entire business is gone. Her reputation is gone. Her marriage is gone. Those kids are hurt. She obviously cared about them. So who knows if it was one of us what you'd be driven to.
Shanteari Weems still faces charges in D.C. related to the shooting. Police say she wrote in a notebook that she did not want to kill her husband, just hurt him and get justice for the kids. Supporters are using the Free Shanteari hashtag online and packed the D.C. courtroom Monday, where the initial hearing was postponed.
She's made complaints to the proper authorities before. Her cries for help had went unanswered. Our government did not keep her or the children in the situation safe.
The judge found probable cause to believe Shanteari Weems shot her husband in the thigh and the neck and ordered her held at the D.C. jail.
This is somebody who has lived her entire life obeying the law, helping others, and most of all, raising and protecting children.
Weems's lawyer admits she went to the Mandarin Oriental to confront her husband after a call from a second parent telling her James Weems had been abusing children at her daycare in Owings Mills. Her lawyer is now arguing the shooting was justified.
She went down there asking him what happened. He went from 0 to 1,000. He came at her and she had to defend herself.
If Miss Weems was a white man, she would be home right now.
The man is still alive.
Supporters have been plastering social media with the hashtag Free Shanteari. James Weems, a retired cop, is now charged with 13 counts of sex abuse, assault, and displaying obscene material to a child.
Her husband hurting children should be one of the main focal points of the conversation that we're having.
The prosecutor says that James Weems will be transferred to Baltimore County on Monday to face charges of molesting 3 different kids at his wife's daycare at D.C. Superior Court.
This is a tragedy within itself. Mrs. Weems, who is a wife and a business owner and a caretaker of small children, was given a blow that a lot of women face, not only in their personal lives, but their professional lives. She was forced to face the reality that her husband, who is a former officer of the law, is also a predator who violates children that she was given permission to care for under her watch. And she, of sound mind, informed authorities of what was occurring and was still receiving allegations from parents and guardians about her husband's continued violation of their children. So to me, Mrs. Weems felt like her hands were tied. Her husband, who is a former officer of the law, this case is not going anywhere. She confronts him in Washington, D.C. They have an argument, and of course, Mr. Weems gets injured in the hotel room. This case should be an eye-opener to all of us within the community, that persons who seem as a pillar of the community, former officers of the law, persons that we look up to, sometimes are doing things to harm our children. I cannot tell you the amount of Twitter threads I've read prior to being kicked off, where persons who are now adults speak of mentors, family members, even step parents violating them, and no one believed them. I will take you back to a post I saw back in May, where this mother is upset that her daughter at the time, who was a middle school child, was jealous of her and her husband's relationship. Instead of this woman divorcing her husband and getting her daughter the needed help that she needs, instead, she puts up a hashtag Free Eddie. Her daughter, in turn, bears a child for her husband. The police in Florida do an investigation where the DNA matches her husband as her grandchild's father, and now he's being held on a $150,000 bond. Do you understand how serious this is? We have women who are condoning the actions of their husbands who violate their own children. But in this case, Mrs. Weems saw the writings on the wall. She understood how serious this was. She did not stand by her man, but she did notify authorities, even knowing that her husband too is a former officer of the law. And yet, Mrs. Weems is the one being prosecuted because she unfortunately used her legal firearm in a confrontation with her husband. I will leave several links and notes regarding to child abuse and various hotlines. I want us to be safe out here. I want us to continue to having these types of conversations with ourselves and protecting our children and ensuring that other people's children are also protected. We cannot turn the other way when someone who is of power does something this heinous. We must take all allegations seriously, and I hope that the authorities in Maryland do take this case seriously, and I hope the best for Mrs. Weems moving forward. Tell me what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.